Alright guys, someone sent me an email about asking about where to place your arm and your picking hand when playing. So I decided to do a little video, how to hold a pick and hand placement, and in regards to rhythm and lead playing, just a pretty much general type of beginner thing. Um, for pick, for when I hold mine, it's kind of like at an angle, as you can see there. So that's how it looks from the bottom, and then from above kind of creates a little V shape with your pointer finger and then the pick. And I let a good size kind of hang out from underneath, especially for rhythm when I'm alternate picking. This way I don't miss the string when I'm going up and down. And then I use a technique called circular picking. I don't do the locked wrist type of approach. Circular picking is from these two fingers, your thumb and then your pointer finger, or your index finger. And what that is just moving those two fingers with the pick in between up and down. And then there's some, I move my wrist as well as I start going into faster speeds. I don't play uber fast, I'm not a shredder, but it's a little bit of the movement from the wrist as well as movement from your fingers. So as you can see, it's a little bit of the wrist motion as well as the fingers, and that's circular picking. That's what I find to be easier. I tried the locked wrist approach, where the guys just kind of hover and then move strictly from here while keeping everything pretty stiff. That to me seems like too much work. Like, not like just keeping this arm stiff and then just moving that just seems so much more work than just moving these two fingers. And you can get pretty fast. There's a couple of guys from Japan that use this technique, and they're like ridiculously fast, and it's super concise too, because this is all you have to worry about moving, and so you can get pretty clean with it. So that's the technique I use for alternate picking. Now for rhythm, for my hand placement, it's pretty much on the bridge of it, on the tailpiece of the guitar, and then I just either, if I'm down picking or alternate picking, it's pretty much, it's on there with my arm right here resting on this part of the guitar. I have a PRS, so my setup's a bit differently, and I find this to be most comfortable for me. I found though that using this, this doesn't fit with all guitars. Some of my friends have like floating bridges or with the tremolo bar, and that resting the hand here doesn't work very well because it kind of moves it and depresses the whammy bar, so it goes in and out of tune, so you have to be very careful with that. But for me, since it's just a stop tail, it works pretty well. So find what works best with your guitar and your tailpiece. That should work for most guitars. I think I have a Les Paul that has a different kind of bridge setup, and there's like these little spikes at the end, so I really can't press down too hard here, because once I start getting into it, it starts grating against the side of my fingers. So generally that's should work. You will have to kind of move your hand to kind of figure out what's most comfortable for you. Pretty much you want something that allows you to switch between picking styles comfortably and doesn't really affect your playing too much. That's why when I alternate pick, when I'm switching from down picking to alternate picking, I leave out that chunk. Like, regardless, I don't tighten up on the grip or anything. I keep it pretty much the same, so I can just switch easy between the two. There's some guys that like to choke up, which works as well, but when you're switching between down picking and alternate picking for different sections, it just kind of gets in the way. Now for lead playing, I I use this my pinky finger as kind of as a anchor. There we go. Took a while. So if I'm playing, my pinky, it stays there the whole time regardless. And it's kind of like a guide finger, and it just keeps my hand in place, and so it's not flying all over the place. There's exceptions to this, of course, if I'm like up picking like some lead stuff, but for once I start going into like scalar stuff or more melodic lines, then it's pretty much set right there wherever I happen to be, usually right here. But I don't do that when I'm playing rhythm. When I'm playing rhythm, then it's my entire hand is pretty much just resting on the side of the guitar. Because putting my pinky and trying to play rhythm like that is too much of a stretch, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not necessary. So I only use it as an anchor when I'm playing lead stuff, and then for when I'm playing rhythm, my hand pretty much generally is just sitting right here. Hope this helps, and if you have any other questions, feel free to send me an email.